Welcome to the Washdown Podcast, episode number 53. And today we have Bret Cortright and Mike Delaney from War Horses for Veterans in the studio with us. And we're going to talk about their stories and what led them down the path to become involved with war horses. And they're going to let us know a little bit about war horses, what war horses is about. So hope you guys stick around, enjoy the episode. And here it is, episode 53, the Washdown Podcast with Bret Cortright and Mike Delaney of War Horses for Veterans.
I don't get the...
You're in a new spot.
I don't get the luxury of just hiding behind the camera.
There's no anonymity for you anymore.
Can we all be over there? That'd be easier.
It'd look better.
Exactly.
I don't know how I'm going to play games on my phone now and take naps.
It's never stopped Nelson before.
Yeah. Hey, man, when I got to text somebody.
I'm looking something up. Okay, sure you are.
Damn right I am.
You still looking up? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Yeah.
Just because I watch basketball and football on my phone doesn't mean nothing, all right? I'm not the one who schedules these things during game time.
Hey.
Game time.
Adapt and overcome.
I do. That's why I have a phone. And it gets
there you go.
It gets TV.
I'm surprised you don't have one earpiece in so you can listen to it too.
I don't need to listen to it. I can tell when a ref blows a whistle.
Get excited and hit the microphone. Yes, dong.
Now, if it was a KU game, I wouldn't be here. Yeah, I'll tell you that now.
I'd be sitting right there with you watching it.
Sorry.
That's too
Best
bad.
believe that.
That's Kansas.
But he's from Kansas. He thinks he should be proud of it.
Rock chalk, baby.
No.
Yes,
I told him to
sorry.
smell the air up here, and he was like, "Oh yeah."
I don't know. It made me feel really weird.
This is God's country.
That's what
how
everybody
normal
says,
people
but
feel.
He
It's
tries to tell me it's where he's from. But,
No.
no.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Well, I grew up in Louisiana, so you know.
Where?
Exactly. Shut up. I ain't saying it that way.
How do y'all say it down there?
I'm not saying it that way.
Louisiana.
He has to speak down for us Yankee folk.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
we wouldn't understand him otherwise.
I always thought it was Louisiana.
Yeah.
Again, had to adapt and overcome. Mm-hmm. So,
What's the dude off Waterboy?
Dude, right? You talking about Rob Schneider?
no,
No.
he's talking about the coach. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Farmer
the
Fran.
denim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Cajun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? When Jeremy and I went down there, his was your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
He had a real. I mean, he wasn't like that, but he had a thick Cajun accent. That first
He was
night,
from Lafayette.
I was
so.
like, "What?"
Washdown podcast.
But you know, after I got to know him a little bit, it was easier to understand. I had no issues. It was just that initial couple hours.
Why do our views in Louisiana just start skyrocketing? I don't get it.
It's all the same house.
That's all South I-10. I'm just
You've
gonna
been
tell
there.
y'all guys.
That's what I'm hearing. He's been to Louisiana.
All right. So, Mike and Bret, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So, you guys are with War Horses for Veterans.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, let's just get started. Who wants to go first? Your life story in 2 words or less. Go.
Oh yeah, you can say pass.
He can do that. That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bret.
Which part do you want to know about?
Whatever you want to share, man. We'll talk about whatever.
So I am the director of operations at War Horses for Veterans. I've been there about a year and a half on staff. Did about a year volunteering out there. So I came to the program. Basically, there was a guy that worked there and former motor partner of mine. He's like, "Hey, I need you to check out this place." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I head out there and, you know, I had no idea what horses did or what any of this stuff was. And so I go out there and he has me meet with this forensic psychologist. And I knew I was battling with some stuff inside. And I met with her, cried like a little girl for a while. And next thing I know, I'm in a round pen with a horse. And I'm like, what happened? I literally felt like I was floating for a while. And it took me a while to kind of figure out what the program was, kind of what it meant for me. You know, I was battling with alcoholism, just PTS issues. And I'll give you my background here in a second. But so I basically started going out there as much as I could. I had already left law enforcement at the time. And I just started learning about horses, learning about myself, learning how to breathe again. And I could see myself a little more present at home, but at the time I was still drinking pretty heavily. So I just started volunteering out there. And one of the days the director out there was like, hey, what do you think about this place? And I'm like, well, it's funny you asked because, I don't know yet. He's like, okay, I'll ask you another time. And then it was probably a month or two in. He's like, hey, did you think about it? I'm like, yeah, it's pure. This is a pure, clean place. The best way to describe it for me. And, long story short, I just kept going out there, and I worked from home at the time. So I got to spend a lot of time out there, got to meet a lot of people, got to learn a little bit more about riding. And at the time, they hadn't had our facility built yet. It was just a round pen on gravel and a shed, and that was in a pool house next to the co-founder's house. So I basically just kept going out there, and the director came to me one day and goes, hey, when I get this place built, I want you to come work for me. And I'm like, yeah, right. This is like a dream in paradise type of job. So, but June of 20, he called me. He's like, hey, it's done. Are you ready to come work for me? And I was, yeah, I'm ready. So I joined the team in first part of July of 20, and I've been rocking and rolling ever since. So.
So tell us about the program. We'll get there in a minute. So your background.
Okay, so
you're not getting off that easy.
I know. Okay, so I started at Sheriff's Department in 2006, January 2006, and worked there till October of 08. And then I went to City PD. Spent several years on midnights, just doing the ground pound, driving the cage around town, having a good old time. But my ultimate dream was, dude, I want to ride a bike. I want to be a motor guy. So I was finally able to get on the motor squad, and there was only 5 of us. But I was like, man, this is great. Get to ride a bunch of tickets and, work a bunch of crashes, and the motorcycle, of course. You get the knee-high boots, the skin-tight pants. It was just right up my alley.
Wow.
So, it was just, I'm just kidding. That just came with it. But
just perks of the job.
Bonus.
Yeah, it was fun. Got to do some motorcycle competitions that you see on YouTube, stuff like that. And then we got to also escort fallen officers or military personnel. And then it kind of changed in my mind of, okay, this is a little bit more to it. So it was pretty cool to be involved with stuff like that. And then the part where I think my mental state started going downhill was all the crashes. So I never worked in a big inner city with a lot of major violence or stuff like that. But it was a lot of the crashes that I worked were local people, good people that just unfortunately ended their life in a crash. So my job was to basically investigate that. So I spent a lot of time working fatalities, working crashes of people broken and pieces everywhere. And it just, after a while, just started compounding on me. And it's just not something that you would expect. But then again, you never know what you sign up for.
Well, yeah. And we've talked about it before, the cumulative effect of seeing that type of stuff on a day in, day out basis. That's not too different than the stuff that we see because we're right there with you at the car crash. And then, we go to the sick call that's a baby or whatever. So, I mean, after a while, that stuff, it chips away. And guys in our profession, we tend to try to ignore it and bury it. And
you have no idea it's happening at first.
Yeah.
It's like the hot tub effect.
Yeah.
You just get used to that water being hot all the time.
Yep.
Well, and it really started bothering me when it was weird because most of the crashes happened in town, somewhere in the city. And it was not uncommon within like 30 minutes or so, families on scene. And that's pretty difficult to experience when you have somebody that you know what they look like under a tarp and they don't. They remember, John Smith or whatever his name is, and you're like, I don't want you to go over there, and it's not what you need to see. And it's hard to calm that while you're trying to do your job. And it can just be overwhelming with not necessarily the death, but the family that's good people that, unfortunately lost a loved one or multiple people. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I started down my path. And then I got pretty good at doing what my job was. I did some research on some new equipment to basically get our crashings mapped quicker. And
so you could write more tickets?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Write more tickets and stuff like that. Yeah. And so we bought this new equipment, and probably like 6 months later, that company reached out to me like, hey, man, you're pretty good at this. You want to come work for us, work from home? And I'm like, I don't know about that. My wife's like, no, I think you should. So I ended up leaving and went to work for a Fortune 500 company. So 4 days before I was on a plane to Orlando, I was in a neighboring city because we were the backup SWAT team, and some guy had killed several people. I'm on top of our armored car with a gas mask and my rifle waiting to smoke this guy. Should he come out shooting at us? And just hoping that doesn't happen, because I'm like, man, I'm getting ready to start a whole new chapter, a new life. And then next thing I'm on a plane to Orlando and dove right into...
like, it's funny, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I remember clear as day getting on that plane going, I literally was just, ready to get in a gunfight with this guy. Thank God nothing happened. And then next thing I know, I'm in this office with khakis and a tie and trying to, learning that new trade. Yeah. So I did that for about 3 years. Got pretty good at it. I was able to do sales, account management, business development, and learned basically business overnight by myself, remote, covering a 4-state territory, learning, what profit and losses are, what, forecast is, what a funnel is. And so I got to learn a lot of that. But that's when I was really getting on the road. I was drinking heavily. I was by myself in a hotel room, no kids, no wife. I just drink myself. So I just learned this is the way my life is, and it just kind of sucked. And then in 2019, I lost my brother in a plane crash. That kind of threw me to rock bottom. So he was my best friend. We did a lot together, always on the phone with one another. And during this time, I had been going to war horses, every chance I got, But after I lost him, that was when I really was like, man, this really sucks. Life really sucks. What is there left to do? And so I finally, I just kept drinking. I don't know how my wife stayed with me. I just don't know. But she's always been my rock. So, but continue going out to war horses, continually meeting with a couple shrinks here and there, get myself where I needed to be, and kind of learn to deal with the stuff that I had seen and done. And the loss, obviously, of my brother. So, I think it was March of this year, I finally said I'm done drinking. And so I've been sober ever since. Been working at war horses, and that's, we obviously help a lot of people that come out to our program, and we'll go into the program, obviously, but, it doesn't only help them, it helps the people that work there too. So, but that's me in a nutshell. So, not quite the inner city chaos as Mike, but to each their own,
Yeah. Well, that's something that we've talked about is we got to stop comparing.
Exactly.
Because it's your experience.
Yeah.
So, and what you saw is no less valid than, what he done. So,
yeah.
That's actually, I don't know if you remember when we were up there last with you guys, and I made the comment that it was nice. The room we were in was like big city. Everybody's been in the shit. Like there is no like small town. Like we've all seen it.
Yeah.
And I had brought that comment up over the weekend when we were with Jeremy's wife, and we had kind of, I think it was even actually off camera, but we had started talking about, like, that's not necessarily, like, yes, the multitude, or I guess the acuity and quantity of what we see may be higher, but, like, when we talk about some of these guys in, rural departments, maybe volunteer departments, small towns, that wreck they may run, they know. We have the
blessing of anonymity for
It's a lot
the most
different when
part.
you know those people
Yeah.
personally involved.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard in our professions when one of us gets hurt, because it hits
Yep.
home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it was, I'm glad you're here, because it was really, when I had made that comment the other day, it was, I still kind of stand by it for what we were discussing, but at the same time, it was, I guess, a little short-sighted to me not to consider.
Is ignorant.
There we go.
Yeah. It's all right.
I was wrong.
Yeah. At least you're a big enough person to admit
Was
that.
it Will Ferrell in the campaign? I fucked up.
Is anybody talking about the iron jaw of that baby?
And what Brett failed to mention in that story was he has nightmares still that he can't write traffic tickets anymore.
I don't know about that.
It just drives him insane.
I do not miss writing tickets.
I mean,
Do you carry like a notepad and just write parking violations in Target?
He gave me
No.
4 on the way here.
No.
Failure to yield.
I can honestly say when I wrote a ticket, that person needed a ticket. And I always went by when in doubt, throw it out. Don't even stop it. Don't write the ticket. If you have any doubt, throw it out. So
What was your cutoff for speed?
So for me, in town was 12 over, 15 on the highway.
Yeah, I got tickets from him.
Yeah. Most fire
Let's be
plates
honest.
got tickets from me.
See
A lot of jealousy right there.
little red team, blue team action going
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I get it.
You know what, though? It was a really fun job. I mean, to ride a motorcycle every day was pretty awesome.
What'd you ride?
Harley Electric Glide. So I had two. I had a no weight when I first went in, and then I had a 2016.
Nice.
So they were both pretty sweet. But my first one was black and white, so it was kind of cool, the old school. And then the second bike was all black, so it was pretty awesome. Black helmets, black bikes. It was pretty cool.
Kind of like you're trying to hide from the public.
No, I don't know if I'd say hiding.
Trying to be sneaky.
Fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were blending in, so we were adapting
He
to
wanted to be
the
part of the Me
environment.
Too movement.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, we went there.
Not wanted to, still does.
Yeah. Honestly, it was really fun. You know, the guys that rode motors, it really is a brotherhood because, you got to earn your wings.
And you have the most dangerous job as a cop out there.
Yes.
I will never not say that.
And the school itself
bike.
is actually very, very difficult to pass. It's one of the hardest schools in law
I've
enforcement.
always wanted to go through that course.
I mean,
honestly.
it's pretty awesome. There's a lot of people. I actually failed my first wheel school. There was 9 of us that was in the first class, and like 2 or 3 passed.
Damn.
One guy broke his ankle. When I went in my second class, there was only 3 of us, and we all 3 passed.
Who did you pay off the second time?
I'm not going to mention the agency, but it was fun. But it really is a pretty cool brotherhood because you're all, you're on these 2-wheel machines, and you all wear the wings. Like my wings mean more to me than my badge ever did. So it was pretty cool.
I have never been pulled over by another motorcycle cop when I'm on my bike ever.
Yeah.
They
Better
just
knock
kind of
on wood.
wave. They just kind of wave.
I still know some. We can arrange that.
That is the nice thing about
Hey, they're
riding
going to
around.
earn it. I'll tell you right now. It's going to be earned.
That's the nice thing about riding around our city.
They will probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our city in a white bike is like people are like, oh, and then
Yeah.
they get close
Yeah.
to me and they're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
They're like, fooled you fuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. I had a good time. So.
They always seem like, I know our guys that ride, they always talk about that.
Yeah.
How much fun it is. And they don't have a district really. They're
No,
just,
you're free reign in our city too. It was
where do
awesome.
I want to go for lunch today? And that's
Yeah.
where I'm going to.
And
set up.
it was pretty cool because in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with this, is that your ultimate is to escort the president of the United States. No matter who the office or who is in office, just being able to escort the president of the United States, and I was able to do that in my career, so it was pretty cool. No matter who the president is, cool. Being able to do a presidential motorcade was pretty legit. That was pretty cool. Very fast, very quickly moving, but it was fun. Had a lot of fun.
Do they do any like extra training with you guys ahead of time for that? So I know it, like in our city,
He can't talk about it.
Yeah, Secret Service.
When in our city, when the president would come in, one of the fire stations is where they keep their like equipment.
Yeah,
They had
Good to know.
yeah. So I found out the hard way. Is a station you float out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had just pulled some stuff in there, and I came in that morning and got in. I'm there at like 7 and came in at like 6 that morning, and it's like this 6-door excursion, and it's got like this little satellite looking
turret-looking thing on top,
Doppler radar
Yeah.
on top, and
yeah.
you want to talk about shit in my pants? So I'm like,
You tried to go open the door.
Did you open the door?
Yeah, that's a yes.
no. So I have like a 6-year-old schoolgirl, just my face just like planted on the glass, trying to see in through the windows. You can't see it.
Snosberries taste like snosberry. Yeah.
At which point the door then opens, and some guy's like, "Can I help you?" And I think I shit my pants.
Yeah, you're in my garage.
Yeah. I was like,
This is my house.
I literally I was like, "There's somebody fucking in there."
Yeah. Well, honestly, they do like a brief the day before, and there's a lot of hurry up and wait involved because, we go to escort the president the next morning. He was at a hotel, and, you just wait. Well, what's he doing? Well, he could be working out. He could be eating breakfast. He could be on the phone to somebody, and you just wait. And then the next thing you know, you're in the shitter, and we're going. It's time to go now. And it's asses and elbows. You're rolling. So.
Or they change the route last minute.
Yeah,
Service,
they'll do that too.
the first lady or president decides, I'm not going there now.
Yeah. But it was cool. It was fun. I got my picture in front of the beast. It was pretty awesome. So
That's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah. Politics aside, it's pretty cool to do that. Quite an honor.
We'll top that.
Oh boy.
When I was a child.
It all started. So I work in a city a little bit larger in this area for 16 years as an officer. Had a blast doing it. Unfortunately, that also led me to the path of finding war horses as well. I did 6 years in patrol. Loved it, but it was time to move on. So I went to one of our SWAT teams. We did the barricades operations there, and that wasn't quite enough high speed for me yet, I guess. I went to our narcotics SWAT team, high risk search warrants, a lot of violent felony suspects, homicide suspects, robbery suspects. Got to do a lot of cool stuff with the feds. Quite honestly, some stuff you see on TV you think you're never going to be part of, and you realize, yeah, I'm doing this, and you get addicted to it. So eventually you just get sucked in and you're working nonstop. But I loved it and wouldn't have traded it for anything in the world. And that's when we talk about the secondary trauma you mentioned earlier, I had a lot of that build up before I even knew and was forced to face anything. Mm-hmm. Almost a blessing in disguise in some facets. Well, the last shooting I was in, I ended up getting hit 3 times, and a detective behind me got hit 3 or 4, and the bad guy got away and shot a 3rd cop before he was killed, still shooting it out with the police. And so doing the SWAT thing for, at that point, almost 8 years, mentally prepared for that. I had been in shootings before. What I didn't prepare for was the guilt and shame and embarrassment I felt not doing my job that day. I took that all on my shoulders and decided that was all my fault, and I didn't talk about that. I was an open book, so everything else anybody wanted to know and talk about, except when it came to basically the emotions of it. Like, no, it's fine. I set on a path right from the beginning. I'm going to show everybody I can go through this and not affect you. pretty smart, I thought.
Genius move.
Yes.
It works for all of us.
Yes, exactly.
That's why there's so many nonprofits that deal with police and firemen.
Yes, yeah.
We're perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just buried
Just
up.
watch.
That's what everybody else does.
Push it down.
Deep in there. Never bring it out.
Yeah. So,
Falls under the fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
That's kind of what that is.
yeah. So, unfortunately, part of that was I hurried back to work as soon as possible, right? Show everybody I can do it. Get in there. And I wanted to get the guys to trust me again. And I never really believed in my own mind that anybody trusted me again. I would ask them, and the whole time I'm trying to prove myself. And there were some days that it was probably dangerous for me to be around because I was like, cool, if it happens again today, I want a chance. And I was handed a shit sandwich that day, and I could admit that now. I had a distraction from behind me and got turned around, and that's when the bad guy decided to start shooting. So as I turned around to address that. So right from the get-go that day, I was in a bad spot, but I couldn't admit that then. It was only I fucked it up. But so when going back to work, the distractions of being back to work didn't help me get out of my own head all the time. I started drinking, right? Because that's our next step in this profession, right? Oh, yeah. We fix it with alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Works every time.
Exactly. And it
Whiskey is our friend.
Yes, yes. And it worked. It worked. Absolutely.
It always does.
I was going to the point of isolating so much. I would literally want to drink on the way home just to see my family when I walked in the door. Because by the time I was done with the days of work, I didn't want to talk or be around anybody. I was blowing off stuff. I'd make plans with friends and blow it off. And my wife would nicely one day call me out on it. She's like, you did this last couple times too. You made plans and then you just find an excuse not to go. And I'm like, oh, well, I got this. I can't. You justify it, right?
Yeah.
She's wrong. She's never right. So, so I had that happen, and then you throw in some traumatic stuff in my personal life. My daughter was born on ECMO for 12 days, and we didn't think she was going to make it, and that was like a year to almost the day of the shooting. So my drinking really escalated in the hospital because here I am in a situation I can't control again, right? My worst fear. I think that the professions probably share that in general.
Yeah.
And I really pissed away a good opportunity to emotionally be there for my wife. And I just didn't have it in me to do it. Didn't understand it at the time. This is hindsight looking back. But she stuck around. And then go fast forward another year. I'm still plugging along, right? Faking it till I make it. The drinking's a lot worse. I've lost some body weight at this point. It's pretty bad. And then we have an officer shot in the city I work at. He got shot in the head. The first reports that day were he didn't make it, and how it's a big rumor mill.
Yeah.
You think the police department have facts. No, we don't. That's kind of the day I got outed. I was off work that day, so of course I was drinking by 3:00 in the afternoon.
You waited till 3?
I didn't say. Of course I was. I didn't say when I started. It was before 3.
Yeah.
But I thought I had to do the right thing, right? Go support family and friends of this officer and be there at the hospital because I know what those scenes are like. Everybody shows up in support. So I showed up pretty intoxicated. Luckily, it kind of got scooped away, but I met a police psychologist that night. Somebody was like, "Hey, go talk to this guy. It's a friend of mine, and he's not good." So she walks up, and she's got a mask on. Of course, I didn't. I was intoxicated. I didn't put a mask on, even though it was COVID then. And she's like, "How you doing?" "I'm good." She goes, "Bullshit." I go, "I'm sorry. I don't know who you are." And she introduces herself. I'm like, "Oh, fuck." But I will say, I didn't have contact with the chief of police that day, but he saw me, and he just saw, I was 190 pounds at that point. I was 225 when I got shot. And that wasn't because of my injuries. That was the drinking and everything I was doing to my body. And I was just whittling away because I wasn't eating much. I was drinking a lot. And I wasn't working out like I was because I was fucking hungover all the time. Yep. And he'd known me since I started the police department. And he took time out of his schedule to call that police psychologist and say, "Hey, I want you to make time on your books for this guy." And so when HR calls me the next week and is like, "Hey, the chief would like you to go see this person. Would you do that?" Who says no to the chief?
Especially that chief.
Yes, yeah. Yes. The size of the department and everything going on in his world then, he took the time to hey, I got to check on that guy. That says a tremendous amount about him as a person. So I started seeing her, but I was still drinking, mostly lying to her about drinking. and not admitting that I still was carrying this guilt and thought it was my fault. I didn't do my job that day. And the confidence in myself was gone by that point. I was just literally just going through, floating along, I guess, waiting for a wake up call. And then September of that year, she pulled me from work and I went to a substance program because I called her one day and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'd left work early to go home and start drinking, went on a walk with my wife and daughter, and she realizes I'm intoxicated, and she looks at me and she's like, maybe we would be better without you if you won't quit drinking. And that was kind of like my, oh, fuck moment. Like,
well, that's
my
a
wife,
wake-up call.
Yes, and she doesn't make threats like that, just make them. I got friends and buddies that their wives have threatened to leave 100 times, and my wife she's legitimate. She meant that. So I literally went right home, turned around, and called my psychologist. Was like, I need something. Like, this isn't working. I need more. So that kind of started my path forward. So I did the substance program for 30 days, and then once I was sober, started intense trauma therapy with her, and finally started to make some headway.
Yeah. The unfortunate fact is that you can do all the trauma work that you want, but if you're still using,
it never
it's
sticks.
not going to work.
No.
So
and you have to want.
Yeah.
You have to want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wanted it, but I didn't want it bad enough to stop drinking until that point.
Yeah.
So then, you kind of go through your highs and lows even then, because like she said, I was 3 or 4 months into it. I'm like, I don't understand. I'm not much better. I don't feel like. And she's like, well, what do you expect? I was like, well, I haven't been working now for 4 months. I should be getting better, right? And she's like, well, I took away your alcohol and your adrenaline at the same time. And how many years did you do that? Okay, well, I guess if you look at it that perspective,
I don't like you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a lot of days, and I've told her I wanted to punch her so bad walking out of that office. But she truly, in a lot of facets, saved my life because she's very culturally competent and gets it, and she doesn't. So her bullshit meter is as good as ours, which is what we need. Somebody to call us out on our shit when we're feeding it to them. So, and that's kind of when she introduced me to war horses. I guess, according to her, if you believe her, she'd mentioned it a couple times and I blew her off. Probably thinking something along the lines of, I talk to you 3 times a week. I'm not going to go talk to a horse. Are you fucking crazy? Because, when you introduce horses to first responders, you think therapy and feelings, and like, I'm doing enough of that. But she got me conned into going out there to help with a farm project. Because they have several acres they operate on, and they have a lot of farm type stuff they do besides just horses. So I said, sure, I'll go. And all I knew about horses at that point was they know more about you. They're very intuitive than you think. So that day I show up, and lo and behold, they put me through the 1-day one-on-one clinic with a guy that did the first responders at that point, and I loved it. Found a love for horses I didn't know I had. They're really cool creatures, and it really wore me the fuck out. I went home that night and slept like a rock because I was focused all day so much on keeping my stuff under control and not letting my emotions get the best of me. And because internally, apparently horses can sense that. And I know now for a fact after what I do, that's true. So I worked hard on myself all day, and it had an effect on me. And while I was out there, Bret and the other guy that was working with the first responders then was like, hey, if you want to come out again, just give us a shout and let us know. And I was like, well, I'll do anything tomorrow. I'm not working right now. So I started coming out all the time and volunteering and learning horsemanship. And 3 or 4 months later, I'm teaching classes out there with horsemanship and first responders, working with them. And in the midst of this time, a medical retirement process was going on. So basically, I came to the conclusion that I had to get out of law enforcement. That was not good for me anymore. So I had a job lined up I was going to go to, thinking I just walk away, my problems go with it, right?
That's exactly
that was
how
in
it
the
works.
midst of drinking all the time.
Yeah.
That process took place.
Seems legit.
Yeah, and it probably would have worked, but we'll never know now.
Yeah.
But so I.
Well, it worked for him.
Yeah.
He left
Yeah.
law enforcement, and
Yeah.
it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. My problems, they went away overnight.
Exactly.
When I got on that plane.
In a hotel room drinking, right?
Yeah.
Worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried that. The hotel didn't do any good for me either.
Yeah. No, they don't.
So I was just going to walk away, and people were calling me, asking me why I'm not letting the department medical me and go through that process. And I'm like, I don't deserve that. It's I got this job. I'm fine. I'm not that guy. I don't deserve that.
Shame rears its ugly head again.
Exactly. Can't put that ego aside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, when people started calling my wife behind my back and asking her why the hell I'm not, I started, okay, well, maybe I need to look at this. So I'm like, well, fine, just do it. The guy was gonna hire me was like, if you need that job in January, like you've said, you can have it. If it's August or May when you need to start, do this first. Let the department see if they'll take care of you and do it. So the department did their evaluations, and a couple of doctors looked over all my stuff and talked to me several times, and they decided to retire me with medical benefits. And I'd done like my life for like 6 months straight. Every week was focused on getting better somehow in some facet, getting out of depression, getting my motivation back. And that's kind of where War Horses came into it. I was still not working out every day. I wasn't motivated doing stuff around the house like I should have all this time off, right? And I told her, I'm like, I don't get it. And that's when she's like, I'd send some people to the farm to jumpstart their motivation and their confidence. And that's exactly what the horses did for me. And I didn't even realize it, that the differences showed up at home immediately. My wife was like, yeah, you started getting patient again real quickly. You were actually there. You weren't just a lump on a log in the house. You were actually...
You're present.
Yes, I was present. Yeah. And because everybody in this profession, at some point or another, we get really good at being present and not being present. Mm-hmm. It's a polished skill we have.
Yes.
So that's what... And I was actually interacting with my daughter in a meaningful way, and her in a meaningful way, and my stepson. So it slowly started coming back, and I didn't even realize it. I was just going, hanging out, having fun, learning horses since I couldn't work.
He was eating good.
They fed me very well.
Yeah.
He was eating good.
Yeah, still do.
It's amazing in the recovery process how whenever you're in it, in the middle of it, you can miss those small victories.
Absolutely.
Those small steps until you turn around and look back. Wow, look how far I've come. I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
So it's very important when you're doing that, though, to pay attention to those. Because, that's your barometer, to tell if you're getting better or you need to change direction or whatever.
And our spouses always see it before we do. Oh, yeah. Good and bad sides. They always know it. So it's pretty interesting. So back to the secondary trauma buildup. I met my wife. I was already 7 or 8 years into the job. And then I went through all this and started getting better.
So she never got to see the real you?
No, I was already irritable. In some facets, I resigned I was just an asshole now. I didn't have patience anymore. It was just me now.
It sounds so familiar.
Exactly. Yeah. So her twin sister, I'm a lot better now. And her twin sister tells her, I always liked Michael. He's a good guy. He takes care of everything he's supposed to, but he's just such a nice guy now. He's so fun to be around. And that's those kind of things coming from people like that. Is just like, holy fuck. Who was I?
My wife's sister says the same thing about me.
Yeah.
Chris and I still don't, though.
Well, no, yeah.
No.
Even if it was true, you're never admitting that.
Somebody's got to be honest around here.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I got to tell you a story.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have known this, and I didn't know it till about 15 minutes ago. The day you were shot, I was coming home from the river that morning. I think it was a Sunday morning, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yep. And I was going back up north, and I started seeing cop car after cop car after cop car after cop car running code down 435. Didn't really think anything of it. And I was like, well, we probably citywide assist went out. Not all that uncommon, not good, but...
And true.
And then I see a car running code, and then just smoke and dust instantly. I was like, holy shit. And then I see it go into the guardrail. Flip around on front, and come back down. 2 of his tires are blown out, and he sucked him into the guardrail. I pull up behind him, and I'm like, what? Are you okay? And this officer was in tears. He's like, we've got 3 guys shot. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get there. What the fuck do? I don't know what to fucking do. I said, get in the fucking truck now. And drove him there over by 31st and dropped him off, and the other guy stayed with the car.
Oh, shit.
And I don't know who the fuck it was. I don't remember. I'll never forget that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big family, man. You know how it is. You guys have the same, shot on a Sunday morning, and half the narcotics divisions on the boots on the ground within a few minutes of hearing it because the bad guy's loose, right? It was still a manhunt for like 2 or 3 hours. And everybody just dropped everything they were doing. And that's probably what that guy did that day, those guys.
Yeah, I just remember the look of like, I don't want to say panic like he wasn't under control, but
it's
just
emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I remember the first scene an officer ever got hurt that I was on. And I remember telling myself, if anybody ever gets hurt when I'm at work again, I want it to be me. Because that's so much easier when it's you and then something you can't stop to somebody else. It's just, I'm sure you guys are wired that way too.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to, yeah.
I mean, I was at the station the night that the collapse happened, and we hear the Mayday come out, and everybody just stopped. And we all got around the kitchen table because we're not going. We're too far away.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sending us, and we can't, leave our area because people might need us.
You still have a job,
Still have a
unfortunately.
job to do.
Yeah.
But we're sitting around listening to the radio. Give us some news. We're calling people that we know that work down there. And
I was at home that night, and my phone was blowing up, and I, trying to get information, and I was driving my wife nuts because of yelling at her to leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's trying to talk to me about something in the house. I'm like, no, it's not the time. It's because she gets it, but she doesn't at the same time. And
Yeah.
but I'll be honest, for us, when you guys get hurt, it's tough on us too.
Absolutely.
Because we know when we call for help, you guys show up. When you call for help, we're not going to avoid a fight.
Yeah.
If we pull up and you guys are scrapping, we're jumping in.
You guys can scrap. Yeah.
We're gonna help.
same team.
Yeah.
But then have
we don't have cameras.
But when you
Don't say that shit.
we do now.
You might now. Yeah.
I had a camera on my bike
Really?
and a body camera.
Yeah, because you can't trust traffic cops.
Oh yeah,
I was in SWAT, didn't have one for a long time.
yeah, we know.
When you guys get hurt, we have to help. Take care of you at that point.
Yeah.
And it's not easy on us.
Well, and that's the one. So when the officer was shot in the head last year, I was working that day. I remember it, and I remember that the ambulance that was going to go to it was so far away. And I remember the officer. I remember who it was when she self-transported him.
Yeah, that's a load and go for us all the time.
I know, and it's like that's even almost a feeling I hate that that we can't even and that goes back to a whole different if we can talk about staffing citywide and just all this different stuff that puts you in that. We had another one a few months ago that my station down by not south but the next one north all the way off of downtown. Mm-hmm. There's a cruiser that got T-boned at 100 miles an hour. And we were the closest ambulance, and it was a solid 15-minute drive up there.
Oh,
and the whole time, I'm just about to go into a fucking anxiety attack.
Yeah.
That we're not there, and it just...
The driver's putting the pedal through the floorboard. And, yeah.
Well, and we had just got our brand new ambulance that was governed at 70 miles an hour.
Oh, jeez.
And I am just I'm about to fucking come unglued.
You were on that committee, so
I sure was.
It's your fault.
thank yourself.
That's why he can bitch about it.
Yeah.
Because he tried to do something.
But no, it's just been interesting. It's that feeling of just...
It's helplessness is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But goddamn it, nobody else is going to do it other than me.
Yeah.
Like-
it's either me or nobody else.
I'm the
Yeah.
only one that can do that right now.
And
that's me.
That's still kind of, I guess, where I'm in my career, because you all four of you have done it a hell of a lot longer than I have, but I'm still in that career of letting things go to somebody else. Yes, I trust that you're just as competent and you will do it just fine. And I was no, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a common personality trait whenever you get into these type of professions, which I think it's a help, but it's also a detriment because it leads to stuff like what we've been talking about tonight. Mm-hmm. Especially if you don't know anything about mental health, you have poor coping skills, whatever. And, the culture and whatever you want to call it of our professions is you don't show your emotions.
Yeah.
You put your emotions in a little box at home and you can have them back when you go home. But we're not talking about emotions while we're at work.
Which is weird because when you look at Google images of a crying officer or a crying fireman, people oh my gosh, they're not robots.
Yeah.
They're human beings too.
Well, yeah, but you show that same picture to a fireman or a cop.
Yep.
That dude's a pussy.
Pussy.
Yeah. Yeah. Lock it up.
Yeah.
You know, and
Exactly.
I'm even not only like it's like a skill set thing. Like I want the responsibility of doing this, but I've also I've treated hurt cops, I've treated hurt firefighters. I almost take that like I don't want you to have to deal with this.
Yeah.
Even if I trust your skill set, I don't want you to be the one to have to deal with this.
Absolutely. We were talking about it with one of the guys I worked with for several years, and a lot of our mentality and like being first for takeoffs of robbery guys or homicide suspects or whatever is, well, if I'm there first, somebody else might not get hurt. You know, and that's true. Part of is to be there first and get there first. You know, because we're just dudes, alpha dudes trying to, you know, always a competition, no matter what it is.
Ego.
Yeah, but at the same time too, you're thinking, okay, I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want him to get hurt. You know, there's got to be somebody. It should just be me, I guess.
You know what's funny about that though is like I did a complete 180 when COVID started for our department. They did this like 1-man end rule, right? Like just the medic would go in and assess the patient while the rest of the crew stood outside. If there were bullets flying, I'd have been like, I'm going in, you guys stay out here. All of a sudden now they're like, hey, you got to go in. I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm not a canary.
I'm not a canary.
That's not cool. I'm not doing that. No.
Yeah. Well, you know, and it's something that I've thought about recently with getting promoted and stuff. It's now I'm responsible for people,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like,
Sorry. Sorry. I know he's making a good point. But ever since he got promoted, every episode he has to interject that. Since I got promoted.
Hey.
I got promoted. I got promoted.
Yeah, you
I
can
am
watch our
sorry.
episodes and pick out his promotion day.
Nobody cares.
so I'm sorry that we studied together and you completely shit the bed on the test.
Oh,
it's not
dang.
my fault.
Oh.
You know what? I can
Mister,
do
get a
more in
60
my
on the
position
written.
as a firefighter than he could ever do as a captain.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's because it's my job to supervise now.
Yeah. You know what my job is to do? Give him the finger.
Do the work.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
And then my captain said
I'm
I
the
could.
guy.
That's my captain right there.
Yeah.
Oh, he has told you already? Got it.
Yeah. Did you guys salute him when you walked in?
So now that we have rank established,
Yeah. Yeah. Now that everybody knows I'm in charge,
I feel like I should lower my chair. I don't know here.
I can raise mine up. It's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm a little taller anyway, so
Good.
you know.
Good.
Oh, here we go with the giant
God,
thing again.
Giant.
You're the only person I make short jokes to.
I'm short. I can't help it.
short jokes are fine.
Yeah. He gets it. Mike gets it.
Just remember, I'm closer to crotch level for that punch.
Exactly.
And I am not above punching somebody in the crotch.
That's right. You're not above it.
I will still.
Dang.
I will speed back that bag. You have no idea. I will Mike Tyson that shit.
What, you'll bite it?
You're going to bite it.
Hey, this is a fight, right? Ain't no rules.
It's true. No rules on the street.
Oh my gosh.
Just went sideways in a colossal
So
fashion.
you were promoted.
Yes. But it's something that I have thought about of being responsible for people, and you know, we go into that bad fire or we go into that hostile environment of, you know, we have a run an EMS call that turns into something else, you know. Okay, what am I going to do? What should I do? How far do I let this go? You know. So it's something that I've thought about. I don't have any great answers for it. I wish I did, but because I'm still the person that I'll take care of it, you guys back out. That's probably not the right call either. Everybody needs to go and we'll let PD handle it, or, you know, it's time to get out of this fire. Those are decisions that I have to make personally now.
Yeah. That's a tricky one, because you stay in, you might save somebody. You stay in, you might get hurt yourselves.
Or get somebody else hurt.
Well, that's what a boss is, though, a good fall guy.
Yeah.
All right, liability catch.
Shit rolls up.
That's the way we looked at him. Yeah,
Sarge said so.
yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
Like, hey, this could be dangerous today. We definitely need Sergeant here. 'Cause if it goes bad, yep, we got to make sure he's here for that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, no.
But the burden they carry is, and then we talk about that at the group quite a bit now. Is, you know, that's what we do nationally, right? We take everybody else's burden too. Mm-hmm. You know, if he's struggling, I'm not only, you know, I'm like, well, man, I wish I should do something for him. And that's his problem. At the end of the day, it really is. He has to make that decision to get better. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, we carry it too. We're a call. We should have had that safe. they should have lived. If I'd have been there faster, if I'd have done this different, and that's at the end of the day, you have to realize that's if you did everything you're supposed to do right, that's all you can do.
But and you think about like because people have brought up before, how come these cops can do all these problem solving things out in the road or on the street, but they can't take care of their own home life? So you're fine with helping other people, but you can't help your own family. You can't
yourself
yourself most time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can do all this great stuff outside and be this hero, but you can't even be the hero to your kids.
Who takes their own advice?
Exactly.
That's what's interesting too, kind of, especially right now with just first responders as a whole. We nationwide are suffering a staffing shortage.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And that's just on top of all the things that somewhat are in our control, like especially like being a medic. Like medication errors, just medical errors happen. Like they happen, not all the time, but shit happens.
We're human.
We're human. It's hard enough to like grasp with our own human errors, our own just decisions that not necessarily was a wrong decision, but what if we could have done it differently and had a different outcome? And then there's the shit we can't control. Like I was this person's backup, but I was 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And now, like I said with that wreck, I'm in a full-on fucking anxiety attack for 15 minutes to get there, and all of a sudden, once I'm there, I have to flip the switch and go to work. And especially, it's even worse for you guys because now you have to flip a switch and execute a life or death decision. And I couldn't even, that'd be hard.
And then you go home to a 6-year-old saying, "Hey, Daddy, you want to play dolls or play with this or that?" And you're like, "I just got done doing A, B, and C."
Or you get on a fucking flight.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah.
Leaving that shit behind.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to go sit in a metal fucking tube with a bunch of other Karens and Bobs. And
fucking Karens. I think they call them Stans or Steves. I don't remember.
You know what I mean, though? Like, talk about coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, people. I am not a fucking liability today. Like,
yeah.
That's blows my mind. I don't know.
Hey, that's the job you signed up for. So suck it up, Buttercup.
We have gone like 4 or 5 episodes without you saying that.
I know, but I snuck it in.
But I mean, that's also the shit too that like I just think the public doesn't consider.
You don't get it until you've done it.
Yeah.
Well, and part of the reason that we do it is so they don't have to get it.
Exactly.
I mean, it goes back to I want to be the first one in the door because if anybody gets hurt, I want it to be me and not somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, by and large, the personality trait is we're protectors. We're helpers. We're fixers.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's why we got into law enforcement, fire department, in the military, whatever. That's a very strong personality trait. You don't just turn that off.
No.
And unfortunately, it's, and we saw it recently in our area with a firefighter that took his life. Very active in peer support, always helping somebody else.
Yeah.
So.
And you never know what's going on inside.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. And, some of the stuff, like, going back to war horses, it's being able to kind of hopefully key in on some of those signs, but sometimes they're just not there.
A week before that, I talked to him because they had a really bad pediatric death.
Yeah.
And he was going out of his way to make sure the other guys on that call were taken care of.
Yeah.
A week.
Yeah. Well, and that's the importance of having to take care of yourself. I mean, you have to take those steps. You have to make. So it's the same as what we say. Don't become part of the emergency. And if you get in a wreck on the way to wherever you're going to help somebody, you can't help them if you don't get there, right? I'm sure you guys have heard those sayings.
Oh yeah. Arrive alive.
And arrive alive.
However they put it, means the same thing.
Well, and like you said, you can't become a second emergency because I can think back,
even more so on a motorcycle, I could imagine.
Well, yeah. But it was wintertime and our city was bordered up to kind of a rural area. And whenever those guys needed help, you're talking 10, 15 minutes running code. And then you add winter on a highway. I can only go so fast or I'm going to become a liability. and then you're going to have 2 bad scenarios.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing you can do.
Yeah.
I can only go so fast.
Yeah. But we don't apply that to our mental health.
No.
It's completely just stuffed over there in the corner in its box, and let's not get that out.
That's how we distract ourselves, though.
Yeah.
When it's the worst for us on the inside, we look, because I did that like 2 or 3 months ago. I was like not good with, like, retirement was official and all that stuff, and I thought I'd had months to prepare for that, right? That's the decision I thought was the right thing to do, and then it just hit me like a fucking ton of bricks nonetheless. It was actually official. And so what did I do? I started, I need to get involved in that, and we need to start this, and we need to do that, and I need to go do this, and I just distracted myself because I was not good internally. And that's a big sign of mine, and that's most first responders I talk to that have issues. What have they done? Tell me about your last 6 months. Oh man, it's nonstop. I could do this. Well, how many things did you sign up to do? Did you volunteer to do? Yeah, but they were good. I needed to do that. But you also need to take care of yourself.
Fuck off.
Yeah, like I heard about a guy that works 7 days in a row. Yeah.
Stop fucking looking at me.
So did your guys, when you retired, did they prepare you and help you and kind of educate you on what to expect, or was it just, hey, you're retired today, see ya?
I talked about that with my psychologist that I see. The department on their end, no. And the process is laid out, like you have to drive around all over the city making stops in these different areas. And I'm like, and looking at the list when I first started, I'm like, this, and I knew it was going to be that way, but why the fuck is that necessary?
Like a fucking scavenger hunt.
Yeah. Like, can't you get all these people in one spot and we all meet, in one spot? No, you got to drive out here, then the other side of the city and back downtown. And it's just the whole process, the whole day sucked, and I did a good job that day keeping it together until, like, the part you think you'd be happy about, right? At the retirement office. They're telling me, this is what your checks are going to be, and I'm just, it's like, I don't know, dude. I got my eyes got wet and got allergies in there. Somewhere the pollen was high all of a sudden.
Onions in the front.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is real. I'm that goddamn guy now. And the lady sitting across from me saw it, so what'd she immediately do? She, because they know I didn't want that. But it was the best thing. It was going to keep my family with me. I was choosing the career of my family at that point if I didn't step away.
And a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, we see people that come into War Horses, and you can only offer help to so many people. And I'm sure you guys can relate. You can only lead a horse to water.
Can't make him drink.
You can't make him drink. But
well, especially those two. A question: how do you guys? And we've talked about this on the show before. Like, our career is a firefighter, but we are a father, a brother, a husband. Yeah. How do you see, and then how do you separate like, you may be a cop, but that is not your identity. You are not a cop. You are a human that is a cop.
That's the big question, is how do you turn it off? How do you not?
Especially if you lose it, what do you do?
And that's the problem that a lot of first responders in general get into. Like, I am a cop. I'm a firefighter. Well, no, I am, like you said, I am a husband.
Yep.
I'm a father. I'm a son. But we put all of our eggs in that basket because we take a lot of pride in what we do.
Absolutely.
I do think it's something that's learned over time.
Yeah.
We all go through it when
the
we
culture
first start,
supports it.
Yes.
And then we figure out that this isn't all that I am.
Yeah.
It's a lesson learned over time in that job.
But
some people don't learn it, though.
At what point and this is kind of, some of the stuff at War Horses we discuss is, how do you change a culture that has been around for centuries, or however long, fire and police back in New York City? How do you change a culture from believing one thing into opening their eyes to another thing?
At least in the fire service, when we think of, like, the most prestigious, historic, tradition-based, we think of FDNY.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What was big for the fire service, or at least a culture shift, is when FDNY made the culture shift with their peer support. Like, when you have the most, the best gators in the job, the biggest smoke-eating sons of bitches there, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, let's look at mental health. If they're doing it, that's, if some suburban town in Illinois started it, they're going to be like,
Yeah.
But when FDNY does it, ears perk up.
Everybody takes notice.
Yeah.
And here's a constant battle, and in law enforcement, it's very taboo to discuss suicide, and it still is, I think. Years ago, I'm sure there's still some agencies, if you had an officer that took their own life, nobody wore uniforms to the funeral. You weren't allowed to, because they didn't die in the line of duty. They don't deserve it. And I know there's a whole other topic we've discussed on that. And then there's nowadays they were struggling inside. They didn't have the right support. They whatever. People wear uniforms. There's processions. There's all these.
Well, that's the big difference between our career and your guys' career. If I'll use our city at least. If we utilize the EAP, it literally almost is, hi, what can we do to help you? Here's all these resources. Hi, Mr. Firefighter, we love you guys. If you guys utilize it, it's take his gun and we'll see if he's fit for duty.
And that's sometimes that's true, and I've heard those stories, and that's because a good professional won't do that. Like that's not now obviously there's instances when they're like, yeah, I'm probably going to do it tonight, however that comes up, like it's real. But having issues and struggling and PTSD doesn't automatically should mean. But when we have to get away from that, and that's probably somebody not culturally competent either. Yeah. I mean,
and that's the biggest fear I think in law enforcement is if you get your gun taken away. I mean, you're a nobody. You're a nobody.
Yeah.
So
I mean, talk about identity,
and all it takes is one story like that to get around.
Exactly.
And then everybody's like, well,
remember what happened to Bob?
Yeah, he went and no.
Well, on the other side of that coin too is when an officer calls EAP and say he hits the lottery and gets a good person and he gets some good help. He's not telling that story.
No,
nobody knows that one. Then. So you only hear the bad.
Yeah. So I mean, culture shifts and stuff in our professions. Things change slowly. Mm-hmm. Nothing is going to happen overnight, but it takes people getting out there, putting the message out there and saying, look, this is what's going on. We need to be focused on this and talking about this, and these are the resources, and this is what we need to do.
And that's why peer support's important.
Yeah.
Because they have the resources and go see this person, go see that person.
Yeah.
Don't take your chances and dial up a random EAP number and get who you get.
Yeah.
Because they're not all vetted, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but I know I've heard so many horror stories.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, departments are working on it. That way you don't have that issue where you want to reach to the phone and strangle the person or... Because by the time that person picks up that phone once, it probably ain't happening again if they have a bad experience.
Yeah.
You got to get it right the first time, hopefully.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, let's dive a little bit into war horses.
All right.
So
war horses.
We've dabbled.
We've dabbled.
Let's jump off the deep end.
Yeah. War horses. We're in Stillwell, Kansas. We have about 80 acres. It was started in 2014 by our director, co-founder Patrick Benson. They got their 501c3 in 2014, ran their first group in 2015 of combat vets. So they started with just combat veterans. They would bring them in for a week-long program, put them through basic horsemanship, a little bit of leadership, a lot of communication, but the ultimate goal was just decompression, get people decompressed, get them to reconnect inside. From there, he ran, several hundred vets through the program. In 2019, I think, is when they kind of dabbled in the first responder realm. And 2020, I think it was spring of 20 is when they launched the first responder program. And that's when COVID kind of shut people flying in. So they couldn't bring anybody in, all the vets. So they focused pretty heavily on first responders at the time. This year, I'll just give you some numbers. This year, we're about 340 first responders through the program this year. So, but the program with the first responders was really set up on a one-day clinic. You'd come out, you'd get a tour, an overview, and then you get right into round pin work. And also, I'm going to let Mike talk on that because he went, and his first day I remember because I was in the arena talking to our director, Patrick, and I see this guy walk in. He's like, hey, where's so-and-so? I'm like, oh, he's up in the tractor dragging the arena. Oh, okay. And he was just this little timid, skinny little man like this, and it's been really cool to see him grow and see our program work on somebody. Mike does great things for our program, and Mike is our director of the first responder program now at War Horses. So, but just seeing his growth, and I'm going to let you talk about your first day, kind of what the one-day clinic is, because you do a lot of teaching on that now.
Yeah, so we do, like Brett said, the one-day clinics with 6 first responders if they want to ride in the afternoon. If not, we got some communication and stuff we teach with personality assessments we can do if they want to have a larger group than 6. But I went out there for the one-on-one, who are mostly, those are geared towards clinician referrals. Yeah. We have a few clinicians that we work with not we work with, but they know of us and they've vetted us. So if they have a guy or a girl that they think would benefit from what we can do with them and horses, they'll send them out. And if there's, they can't tell us anything about them because of confidentiality, HIPAA laws and all that, but they might say, close down the farm that day. That just means staff only. We don't want Joe Schmo coming through because they're pretty uptight about being anywhere getting help, because we all go through that. Mm-hmm. I can sit here and talk about getting help because I've been there and done that, and I'm okay with that. But not everybody's at that stage, so we respect that. And they'll never know if somebody called or asked, "You've seen so-and-so out there?" I wouldn't say yes unless I know they were okay with it.
Yeah.
But that first day, Patrick was on a horse. Of course, I didn't know him. Brett was talking to Patrick, and I said the other guy was on the tractor. He's dragging the outdoor arena. So I went over the door. I wasn't going to interrupt him. I knew it wouldn't be much longer. He's done. But I remember thinking, fuck this. I don't know shit about horses. It's not like I have to be here. I can leave. And they wouldn't know who I am. Some dude drove up in a white truck and left. But luckily I stuck around because now I work there. But we went right to horses. There was no touchy-feely shit. No, we don't do traditional therapy. We just dudes teaching other people horsemanship. It's hands-on. And what I can do with a horse is they will mirror you, whether you like it or not. You're super high anxiety, they're going to bring that right back at you or try to get away from you because they don't like it. They're hypervigilant animals by nature. So they sense that within us. And so we can use that to our advantage and really show, so if I come in with my anxiety through the roof, I'm not going to get the responses I need from that horse. He's not going to do what I want it to. But once I learn to breathe and calm that, then I can get the horse to do what I need to, and it's that instant feedback.
Instant, unbiased feedback. Yeah. These horses,
they don't care if you're a captain.
They don't care about rank. they don't care.
Believe me, they care.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't care what you've been through.
No, they don't.
And that's pretty cool. And so that's and it forces you to be present, really present. You not only have to be present with you, but you have to pay attention to that animal. Because if I can't get that animal to do what I want, I can't make it. It's a 1,000-pound animal. So I got to ask myself and reevaluate and go, what does this horse need that I'm not providing? Because they will. I mean, they're highly trainable. We don't have any broke trail horses, quote unquote, on our ranch. They're all athletic horses. We have hunters, jumpers. We can cut cattle. We can rope. We do some fun stuff. We can go on a 5-hour trail ride and not see anything but woods and creeks.
I want to do this.
Yeah. So
I think they have some. I think they got ponies for you.
I need a Shetland
we
pony,
got
if you
a
don't
big
mind.
stool you can climb up on and then get on the back. It's fine.
Yeah.
Are they strong enough to support a fat guy like me, or
We have
even a fat guy
one
like
horse.
James?
One horse. His name's Tiny. No, his name's Gus. We call him Tiny. He's a big horse. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I want.
Yeah, and like I said before, when I was myself, you work on yourself and I realized it at that point because you're so focused on this one thing you have to do and to get it done, and everything else kind of goes away in a sense for a while. And then it's, like I said, it's instant feedback. So then we can talk about that, what you had to do, not necessarily talk about incidents. I mean, we have guys and girls come out and they want to talk about stuff. We're sounding boards. We're absolutely about that. But if you just want to come out and do horses and get away from the city for a while, yeah, I have a lot of first responders, and I didn't think about this when I went there because I grew up in the country. So I kind of took that for granted. I was happy being there because that's what I knew. But they tell me over and over and over, just being here. there's no city noise. There's nothing. There's
It's
animals.
clean air.
It's clean air. Not as clean as God's country where we are now.
Oh,
but it's
gosh,
clean.
here we go.
It's still
It's in
still
Kansas. Our place is in Kansas, so it's the cleanest area.
It's still not the crack dust that we get in the city. So it's but just being there that has effect on them. And we have a big lounge you can sit and chill. We have an industrial sized kitchen. We're all about having some fire guys come out and cook if they want, because we got a kitchen that's chefs. They're like, wow, I can cook in this. Yeah. And that's what it's built for.
Yeah, come on, cook a meal.
So we in our lounge.
Not him. You'll get tuna fish mac and cheese.
That's fine.
I'm not the cooker, but I sure as hell eat. But then I help clean up. So that's my contribution.
Our lounge is I don't even know how many square feet it is. It's pretty good size, but it's got the kitchen in the back with a giant island, the stove. It's got dual stoves, nice Wolf stoves. Throw out to them, whoever. But nice gas stove top. Plenty of room to prepare, cook. We've cooked anything from 5-star salmon, lobster, sushi, all the way down to a grilled cheese sandwich in there. So there's the board is huge.
It's a very nice kitchen, very nice room.
And then in the middle, especially with our groups, so you fire guys get to eat together. Usually when you guys are at the station, a lot of the PD guys don't. So we have a giant table in the middle that everybody eats at, and that's the staff, the chef, our ranch hand Eric that works harder than anybody else on our property. Everybody eats together, and they get to experience that time to just chill and talk and eat good food. And our director, he's a combat veteran over in Iraq. I think he was in the Fallujah and Ramadi stuff, and he said they would always eat together, and that was a huge thing. And so that when he helped design this kitchen and build the organization, it was built upon a community, a group of people going through the same crap, and then having a time to eat a good meal. And it's not expensive food. It's just fresh. It's delicious. It's good quality food, and just being able to connect and then go back out to the horses and just have that time.
That's
together.
what we say, in the fire service. Not in all seriousness, not to knock on you guys, but I'm glad we have that opportunity too, because we always say there's nothing a kitchen table in a firehouse can't solve.
Yeah.
It's the great equalizer. Rank doesn't matter. It's just.
Well, and Patrick has said time after time, what brings people together? It's food. You can travel the world in a kitchen, and you do that in the Warhorse kitchen. So having a nice kitchen, being able to make pretty awesome meals that you may not get to experience in your life, and because a lot of people won't, whether they just don't want to pay for a nice meal or they just don't have the time, you can experience that in the Warhorse kitchen. So it's a big part of our facility. Yeah. So,
and speaking of that too, that's something I don't know if I've mentioned to you before or not. Maybe you, I don't know, but that's one of the things we want to get going and going into next year. Is one time before I was around at Warhorses, they had KCK Fire came and cooked for a group of KCK cops that were going through.
Yeah.
Now you probably don't want to flip flop that when the fire guys are doing the horses.
Great, easy.
But that's why we have Bret to cook and Patrick. They can actually cook some good stuff up. But we want to get a list of fire guys and gals that would like to come out and support the organization with cooking a meal for some other first responders, whether it's cops or firefighters or EMS that day.
Yeah,
I think we can work on that.
And then also
we'll talk when we're done.
Yeah.
And even if you want to do your whole house, if your whole firehouse is off, I don't know how your shifts work, but bring your whole station with you.
We only work 9 days a month.
24 on, 48 off.
Jeez,
or some of us, it's 7 days on. And
okay. Yeah, you can scoot back for but yeah, we
10-4 is pretty good, but
yeah. I think it would be awesome. I know Mike and I have talked about a lot, having fire stations come out. Yeah. If they're not doing the horse stuff, that they could at least be part of the program and work in the kitchen. Obviously, I'll be there helping out. We have phenomenal sponsors that
that
help us out with that.
I don't want to say market like you're in a money game, but it just markets you so much more. Station A comes out and cooks for you guys, and the guy gets flown to different stations, so he's having a problem. Hey, this one time I cooked a meal for these guys. Here's what they're about. Check them out.
And they can come see it. The guy or girl I may never get to come out.
Yeah.
Now they've seen it they did horses.
Yeah.
What they said they do. Cool. And you know what? Maybe I'll go.
That's the whole point of this podcast. like Jeremy said 1,000 times, if just one person hears the message, it's a success.
And I get it, because I was, not only did my psychologist been trying to get me out there twice before I did, but I had a friend call me after he'd seen me somewhere and was like, and I remember thinking, I told him, like, horses ain't my thing, man. I'm good. I don't need that. Sure as fuck I did. But it's just, if I'd have known what it was from the beginning, I probably wouldn't have said no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
So, and like, we talked about earlier, sometimes you're just not ready.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get to a certain point and you have to hit that
rock bottom.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Yep.
I'd like to be able to show the viewers your area too.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I know we
bit.
did.
Yeah. So, which we'll have more conversations.
Hopefully we can get something going. Yeah.
That'd be great.
I don't know if it's possible, but our new video release that came out this year, if you guys would be able to show that, it's a 2-minute clip.
Oh, share it to our page. Yeah,
and it really
$5
embodies
you got it.
I'll pay the $5. I got it.
I'll get it.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, checks in the mail.
Yeah.
But it really embodies everything that we are about. So,
Okay. Yeah, we can share it to our page. If you can send me like a raw file, I could maybe even attach it to the end of the podcast or something.
Or at least a link, because we can give you a YouTube link that'll show the final edit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me all your social media links and all that stuff. Just send me an email with it all in there, and I can attach that.
Hey, send him an email.
That don't work that way.
I'm still trying to figure out what he does. I don't. Director of development. What is that? Or operations? I don't know.
That means he does it well. If you don't know what he's
exactly. Yeah.
Does he do it in high boots? That's the.
Maybe.
I never heard that.
I'm willing to bet he's got high cowboy boots. He's got high rider boots from like
they're called stovetops. I'm learning this stuff. Yeah.
Stovetop. My bad.
Stovetops.
nice.
I'm learning this cowboy world.
Still rock his aviators.
No, I never wore aviators.
No, okay.
No,
I don't believe that.
No.
I knew a guy that did, and I was like, oh gosh.
Who's that guy?
So what'd
Cheesy.
you wear for iPro then?
Oakley's.
That's suspect. I'll do some digging.
Just so you know, there's not a single person in this room that believes you. Just so you know.
I'm just saying.
I had.
I'm just saying.
I had those Harley glasses that you could buy. They were from Harley Davidson. They were like $110. Flew off my face on the highway.
One ride.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was like my third ride with them. Flew off right off my face. The cheap
You still
ones,
ride it all?
never had a problem.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Nope, I don't ride anymore. Once I left the PD, I've had a sport bike before when I was younger, but once I got done, because after a while, like a lot of the motor guys, like, oh, I have my own bike, but you ride 40 plus 50 hours a week, you're like, I'm done riding a motorcycle.
He ain't about that life anymore.
Yeah. But, to me, it was, I'd worked enough motorcycle fatals. Part of my issue was visualizing myself deceased and whatever that may look like. So that was kind of a problem I always had.
Yeah.
Still do to a little bit. But then I didn't want my wife to be involved riding with me, because if something happens and I lose her, then what are the kids with? So maybe someday I'll do it again, but in my mind mentally, I'm not ready to ride again. So,
That's fair.
So yeah.
Especially the wherewithal of having not had an accident. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
good.
All right. Closing thoughts. We'll let you guys go first.
Well, thanks for having us for number one. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I hope if whoever's listening, watching, that they if they are struggling, there's a lot of resources out there. for
You're
people.
about to take his catch line, and he's going to get real butthurt
Okay.
over it.
It's fine.
Check us
I
out
will
online.
let him do it because he rode a motorcycle for work.
Not everybody can make it to my league.
Exactly.
It's all right, but
Not everybody wanted to be in the league. Just throw that out there.
yeah, that's right.
Nobody likes the ticket guy. I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah, and there was no quotas, by the way, so just letting you know.
Bullshit.
Never.
Littering and
Smoking the reefer. No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for allowing, and thank you for what you guys do, getting your word out.
hey, we got to be
Yeah.
somebody's hero.
Thank you for doing this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're cops. We don't know what it's like to be a hero.
What?
He was being sincere.
I'm not
and
letting
you
up.
just-
I'm not letting up.
I apologize. It's just-
Every group's got one. It's fine. He's only got 5 years on, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I won't take it out on you then. Fine.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Hey. What's that they always say about subs? Shut up. You don't have enough time to talk yet.
Wait till you get 5 years on.
It's 6 now.
No, it's fucking.
However many years it is you got, it'll be one
It's going to
more.
be 7 soon, and then 8. Yeah.
Plus one. Yeah.
I used to say that kind of stuff when I had Jeremy's time on, but I've outgrown that.
Same class. 5 spots.
What's the serial number difference? Yeah.
It's not 5 spots. I was number 5 in our class. What number were you?
Number 30.
Until you have captain
and how
bars.
many?
Dead last, yeah.
See, but that doesn't matter.
When you graduate, you're a firefighter, no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How many people we have in our class?
30.
How many are left now? Because you guys, how many years you guys have on?
17.
We have
So,
20 left. Not 19 left in our class.
19.
Yeah.
We had a guy get pensioned off right at our year.
Yeah.
Got hurt in a fire. I was actually at that fire. Fell through a hole.
Yeah.
Would have been fine. Somebody tried to help him out of the hole. Tore his
Ooh.
knee in half.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So, yeah, he was done.
Yeah.
His head is what saved him, though.
Yeah. Biggest head. They had to special order his helmet in the academy. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
take a wild guess of how big this guy was.
Jeez.
He's probably tiny.
About
Yeah.
5'6".
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it was all
Just a
head.
giant head.
Could he walk straight?
No.
The jokes are endless with that guy.
That's probably why he fell in the hole. I don't know. Got
He was
over
a
Strong wind caught him and he just went over.
He was a nice guy, though.
Super nice guy. So,
Anyway.
closing thoughts, Mike.
No, like he said, thanks for having us and thanks for inviting us and being here and thanks for doing what you do. I also wouldn't mind telling about a group I've started.
Sure.
First responder support group. It's kind of like this podcast in a way. It's for, well, no, it's better than this podcast. Sorry.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In the fact of
Fucking cops.
Stop.
you can say whatever you want to a group of like-minded people if you're struggling with something and you're a first responder. That's what it's designed for. Like you can bounce something off of the other cops and firefighters that are there and EMS personnel without judgment and without repercussion. There's nobody's going to take your badge or your gun or pull you from fire duty or whatever. But it's just, with current events especially, it's a good place to vent that stuff that the normal public, like we've talked about, doesn't get in our professions. And that's a good place to do it. So can they contact you for information on that? Because most people probably won't have my contact info. We don't give it out. We don't publicize location
Yeah.
and times because we kind of want that confidentiality from the general public.
Yeah.
Because we want people to feel comfortable coming there as first responders.
Yeah.
So get a hold of Jeremy,
Yeah.
and then he can
Send
put
us
you
an
in
email.
touch with
Yeah.
me, and we can get you into that group. But something that's needed in the Midwest. We don't have a lot of that stuff, and especially breaking that stigma still of it's okay to, it's kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous. It's been around for years. And that's kind of what this is for first responders. You don't have an addiction to go. You just have to be a first responder and be willing to talk about what you're struggling with. Or just come and listen if you're having some trouble, struggling with stuff, but you're not at that point where you can admit it or talk about it. Come to the group. You don't have to talk. There's no obligation to say or anything. Just show up and listen.
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll help some people along the way.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested in that, just send us an email, thewashdownpodcast at Gmail. It's always in the description. So, and we'll get you in touch with Mike. So, which, I went to one of them with you and I was really impressed. So, and I think it's a great program. I'd like to be able to get out to some more of them. So, but schedule and
It's there when you can, though.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
other week.
Are you guys there tomorrow?
Correct. We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So, yeah, my plans for tomorrow got cratered, so
That happens.
probably be able to make it out. James, closing thoughts.
This is a great episode. It really was. It did kind of catch me off guard when he was telling about his story. I didn't realize my little insignificant story had a part of it, but it was kind of cool to connect that.
Absolutely.
Just with what you guys do with the organization, it's phenomenal. And what I like about it too is like there's a goal, but there's not a goal. Like the goal is just like, let's be bros and play with horses and cook good meals and just
I have a
interact.
horrible gig. I know.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
let's just be human around each other with this
Yep.
opportunity. Like it's as simple as it gets. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So no, don't ask him.
I have to.
No, you don't.
I do.
That's the rules. It creates a hostile work environment.
He probably won't shut the
doesn't.
camera off until we do ask him.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of does have control of that. I don't want him calling HR on
Look what you did. You don't have an HR. You are HR.
He would tell Rachel.
I'm going to Rachel.
Straight to the boss. The real boss.
And then I'm screwed.
Yep. That's why I have that relationship with her. No, I'm glad you guys came on, and I'm excited to do some stuff with you guys. I really am, and I hope we can do it. That's pretty much it.
Cool.
I'm
Okay.
easy. I'm not long-winded like some people.
I'll try to keep it short.
Like Chris.
Oh. Yeah. Mr. Longest way around ever to make a point in a story.
Hey, I talk like I ride a motorcycle.
If that were true, you'd never say anything.
When I back mine out of the driveway, I put more miles on it than he has in the last 4 years. I don't want to hear his shit.
I've been busy, man. Been busy. So yeah, guys, really appreciate you guys coming in. Really looking forward to whatever we can do with your program, and encourage everybody, check you guys out. So like I said, send me your social media stuff and I'll put it in the description and push those out there on our Facebook and stuff. So thanks everybody for stopping by. If you are struggling, there are resources out there.
You already said that.
War Horses is one of them. So I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Also, if you know somebody who is struggling, reach out, let them know what's out there for them. Just let them know that you give a shit. So thanks for stopping by.
Deuces.